There's something special about KTM's 390 range of motorbikes, and local manufacturing has brought the brand to new heights in the Philippines. Plus, it's given it lower pricing as well. But it does pose a little bit of a problem. Which of the road-going 390s do you get? Will it be the RC390 or the 390 Duke? Let's find out in this episode of Beyond the Ride. KTM's RC range of bikes is some of the most dedicated models in the sport bike category. RC actually means race competition. But isn't a race technically a competition? The fairings are sharp and very aggressive. It takes KTM's ready-to-race motto very seriously. You also get a very large windshield that continues the lines from the fairings and the now iconic dual halogen projector headlamps that characterize the RC, as well as integrated turn signals that can be found in the mirrors. Moving over to the Duke. You see that it takes inspiration from KTM's larger siblings, but in a smaller, maybe cuter package. Though compared to the RC, I find the design to be even more aggressive with its scalpel-like headlight and a bunch of sharp surfaces, like it's kind of prickly. For both bikes, you get a 320mm disc and bi-brake caliper up front, and a 230mm for the rear. The front brake is a 4-piston monoblock, while the rear is a single-piston floating caliper, and both bikes have dual-channel ABS. Both can be disengaged. But the Duke has a super moto mode that allows you to lock the rear. For the RC and the Duke, bumps are kept at bay with WP Apex 43 front forks in varying length, of course. You also get a rear WP monoshock at the back of both models. On its side, you get KTM's signature exposed trellis frame clad in their shade of orange. I know it looks like a seat cowl, but it's actually the seat for the pillion. That's why the foot pegs of the passenger is right there. And it's pretty soft and comfortable, although it is a little kind of high. The rear is very streamlined, and you also get an LED tail lamp. Now the Duke gets a more standard approach to the side profile. You still see KTM's trellis frame, but in two colors because it is split into two pieces. And like the RC, you also get an LED tail lamp. Both bikes are powered by a 373cc liquid-cooled dual overhead cam single-cylinder 4-stroke engine mated to a 6-speed transmission. Both bikes get 43 horsepower, but the RC gets 35 Nm of torque, while the Duke gets 37. Now getting on the RC, you get a very leaned over riding position. These bars extend really far out, and the seat is angled so aggressively that you'll be pressed up against the tank. The seat height for this is 820mm with a ground clearance of 178.5mm. I'm 5'6", and I'm just slightly on my tippy toes. Meanwhile, the KTM 390 Duke is a supermoto disguised as a naked bike, and its ergonomics are on the other end of the spectrum compared to the RC. Your position is a little bit more relaxed, but you do sit taller and more upright compared to the other rivals in the category. Oddly enough, you get a slightly taller seat height at 830mm. Again, as I said, I'm 5'6". However, the bike has 3.5mm less ground clearance at 175mm. The cockpit of the RC390 has everything that you need. The LCD gauge cluster is adequate, if not a little hard to read. You get a speedometer, tachometer, trip computer, fuel economy, range, and a fuel meter. There's also a shift light to let you know when it's time to shift up. Moving over to the Duke, you get a big leap forward with KTM's TFT display. It shows you everything you need with a bright and vibrant screen with a load of features to boot. You can even pair your smartphone with this cluster, which is amazing for this class. All right, since we have two bikes, Earl is going to be joining us. He's gonna be on the RC 390. I'm gonna be on the 390 Duke. And because you guys always ask us what gear we're wearing, Earl's got the VMAR helmet that you can get from Motostrada. I myself, I'm gonna be using the Bell Qualifier, which you can get from Biker Box. Don't do that unless you're an advanced rider. The gloves are from Jane Moto. The jacket is from Icon. And that is our rider EJ. Again, advanced rider. Do not try that anytime, anywhere. Earl, you're not that, okay? Don't do that. Again, don't try that anytime, anywhere. I think we all agree that these engines are plenty powerful and more than enough to get you going with some overtaking power to boot. You get a lively mid-range with both bikes. However, at high speeds, the engine is gasping for air a bit when you're maxing it out. EJ, I have to ask you, I know you've had that bike for quite a bit now. There are people that want to know if the Duke 390 is a good entry-level big bike or expressway legal bike. What do you think?
Yeah, you guys actually hit the nail on the head when it comes to the 390 platform's capabilities. Now, this is actually my personal bike, and I've been riding it on a daily basis for the better part of 2 years now. Perhaps my only gripe with this bike would be just how hot it actually gets. You know, you really feel the heat on your legs, especially when the radiator fan starts buzzing away. Now, heat aside, the bike is an extremely capable platform, and I'd even go as far as saying that with a capable rider, the 390 Duke makes for tons of fun.
But what do you think about the 390 Duke? Do you think that people who want to get into a entry-level sport bike that's okay to take out on the expressway, is that going to be okay?
Yeah, well, definitely. Although it's possible for a first-time big biker to ride the 390 Duke, I'd advise, however, first-time big bike riders who are eyeing this particular motorcycle as their first highway legal bike to exercise just a little bit more caution when twisting the throttle, simply because of how responsive and torquey this engine is. But yeah, the 390 Duke is definitely a strong contender when it comes to entry-level big bikes.
Earl, you look like you're struggling a little bit. Looks like you're a little bit uncomfortable. How's the back? How's the wrist?
No.
The right wrist?
No.
I want to give you a break. I actually want to try out the RC. I'm a fan of sport bikes. I think I can handle that. Let's switch in the next gas station.
I don't know, man. If you want it, you gotta want it, because these ergonomics, they're very dedicated. Super dedicated. Please, anything.
Okay, I get what Earl is saying. The position of this bike, well, it's a sport bike. It's not supposed to be relaxed. And I understand that why people love these kind of bikes. Myself, I wouldn't really want to use this on a daily basis. I could imagine taking this on the track and enjoying it there, but I mean, taking this bike on the expressway is fine, but once you get into traffic situations, and let's say you're riding this through EDSA, ooh, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this too much. But out on the expressway, out on the open roads, on a racetrack, this thing is a lot of fun. It's just that, these two guys here, I'll say that I'm a little bit older than them. And if they're already struggling with it, imagine somebody who's a little bit older than them. But having said that, I still think that this bike is pretty good. Not the most ideal for a daily rider though. around some twisties and up and down the expressway, you can't go wrong with the 390 engine. It's what's built around it that makes a big difference. And what a difference it makes. You can get the 390 Duke for 289,000 Philippine pesos and the RC390 for 300,000 Philippine pesos. Very slight difference. Now, which would I choose? Well, for the daily use, I would go with the Duke. But if I wanted to get a bike for the racetrack, I'd get this. For more information about these bikes and other great MCs out there, log out to www.motodeal.com.ph. This has been Gene Orfino. Hope you guys enjoyed going beyond the ride.